Alrighty, welcome back. We're back at it again, like we do every day. I've got Elvis moved out. I got the trunk lid moved in the paint room. Got Jolene's Bugatti frame moved back in the paint room. Got the little tiny pieces, got the white painted on those. I put those down in the house, so I've been busy. Everything's turning out good. No, turning out excellent to me. But what's going on right now, if you come back this way here where the trunk obviously goes on, I have got a line on the trunk back here on the trunk edge where it's not finished. I took the trunk lid off, sort of premature, but I'm hoping that everything works out. And the reason being is I do not want to prime that hood anymore, or the trunk lid anymore. I just got the underneath painted. I got it detailed for where the insulation pieces were supposed to be. I got it detailed there. But you can see I've got a black marker I drew across there, across the back. And that there, this is what I'm saying. I have not primed the back of the window yet. We filled out the back of the window. We put a window in. I don't know what it's out of, but we put that back window in there and put 2 new sail panels on it. But when the trunk lid was on, I'm trying to make everything fit as nice as possible. I put a new sail panel on the back of this because I moved the roof forward when I chopped it. And you can see the black line here. I just took a black marker and rubbed along the trunk lid, and I want to take that much off, if any. I want to take that much off if there's filler there. I'm hoping there's enough filler there that I can take it down that much further so that trunk lid fits nicer when it opens up. I don't want the sail panel up the 1/8 of an inch I got going on there. I do not want it up. I want to take that down, and then we'll prime it. Obviously, this will have to be painted in there, but basically that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to cheat a little bit, and what I mean by cheat is do a little bit faster than normal. So I made that mark there, and I'll put some tape on that. When I block it off, I'll know I'm down to the right area. So why the trunk lid is off, I'm trying to do the exact same thing with the hood. That's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to try to make the hood fit before I take it off and paint the underneath of it. Basically, I've got to do that, and the reason I want to take the hood off is because I want to be able to put the 5.3 engine in there and check it out and see if it works or not. Well, there's a lot of work that's gone on this hood. On a 56, the hood came down right to the front. I've made all this in here. I've cut the front of the hood off and rounded the corners. Jolene's car started out. I started that car with a Volvo, and I took the body and whatever, but the hood was still there, so I took the hood and I cut the hood, the center of the hood, and put it on top of the Mercury hood. I've taken and rounded the corners on this hood of the Mercury. As you can see, the fenders are welded to the car now. This is a one-piece car, so when we take it off on the hoist, the front fenders are all going to be staying on it because I've made it all into one. And I've rounded all the corners on the hood. So everything on the hood has been modified. The front has all been modified. The center of it's been modified. The corners have been modified. Everything's been modified. Now what I'm trying to do is make it fit the best it can. I have not got no hood latch yet. You see me putting an actuator in there. There's an actuator in there right now. Just put that grill in there because it was on the floor. We'll just put it up against the wall. So the hood is going to open with an actuator. I just got it on there with a pair of vice grips right now. I've got a bracket made there. But I've got the hood exactly where I want it right at the present moment. And this is what's going on. I've got, as you can see, if I try to block sand it, I'm going to hit there in the center a little bit. It's a little bit higher there in the center. Basically, I've got the hood sitting the best it's going to set from me playing around with it. I'm fine with that little bit there. I can, like Jolene said, I can add some filler to the hood. Don't feel like adding filler to the hood because I'd have to fill the whole back of the hood out to fit that. Or, second option, I can take and zip cut this and knock it down some and weld it back up again and then fill it out like that. I don't even want to do that with it because I don't think it matters that much. I'm not going for any big awards or any big prizes. But what I want to do is make it fit the best it can. And I'm okay with that right there. I'm okay with that. Once that's painted, that'll kind of disappear a little bit. I'm okay with this corner down here. That corner seems to be fine. We're up a little bit here on this corner. Let's go slowly. This corner seems to be fine. We're up a little bit on this corner here to the fender. I think there's some filler there, so I'll try to take some off of that. On the back corner where I fixed took and deleted the window, the wiper, if you come back on this side, sweetheart, if you want to come over on this side, I don't know if you can see it from there or not, but it's up, the hood's up there quite heavy, but we're good down the corner and down the sides. So if I push the hood down, yes, we'll get a little bit better going on there, but then we have to add over this part. So there's kind of, it's either or. I can push the hood down on the hinge, and then this gets bigger. I can leave it up, and then this gets taller. So I'm kind of in the middle everywhere, so kind of in the best position. I've got a little tiny shim underneath this side that's holding the hood up a little bit on this side because that's where I want it to lie. You can see on the front, I've got too big of a gap, in my opinion, compared to what the rest of it is. I've got a nice gap going down this side. Got a nice gap going down that side. I've got a nice gap going down this side. To me, that's not a match. That's not me facing the earth, a match. That's not it. I want to make that a little bit tighter. So I'm going to make that tighter. And I'm going to bring, if you want to come from the back side, sweetheart, this is basically where you can see it the best. And I'm going to make this part of the hood fit a little bit better. It's on the back side right here. I'm going to make this fit a little bit better. And just because, you know, why not? So basically, this is my plan how I'm going to fix it. I'm not going to cut anything. I'm not going to weld anything. But I'm going to put a little bit of filler there on this part. You would never know if there's any filler on there because there's an edge there and it comes right up and you would never know. If I start pushing that down and applying, I can apply filler to the whole side of the fender, but I think it's not necessary when I can apply just a little bit of filler from here to there on this face here to come up with that hood, and then I can make it match up. On the front of the hood, I'm going to add a little bit of filler to the edge of the hood on the front so I can get my gap the same on the front. So basically, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying I've got it basically where I want to get it. I'm going to do what I said I'm going to do. I'm going to make it fit just a little bit better in the back and in the front. And I'm going to do it in front of your very eyes. Thanks everybody for coming back. We appreciate it. I'm very happy with the trunk lid, how it turned out yesterday. Very happy with that. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to rough this up. Jolene's doing excellent in Jet Setter. This is the final day for quarterfinal. So if she doesn't make it, she's out. So you know what to do, boys. You know what to do. What I'm doing right now, I'm just going to sand a little bit so the filler sticks. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sand this off a little bit. I'm going to sand the hood here a little bit. You can see that I'm right down to the metal on the hood. I probably got a little bit of filler here. Yes, I do. I probably could sand a little bit of that off. I'm probably going to do that right the present second. I'll sand a little bit of filler off that hood and see how far I can go down without messing it up. And I do not want to paint the underneath of the hood until the outside of the hood is done. And that stands to reason, I would think. That's basically why I did the trunk lid. I kind of, what can I say? I'm not saying the trunk lid, I probably I could have waited a little bit longer, but I wanted to paint a couple things and try to get it rocking and rolling. And I have to do the work on the hood before I take the hood off. I want to do the work on the hood before I take it off. I don't want to have to put it back on to do the gapping after the engine. So basically, just going to take a little bit off here, see how much I can take off, get that fit right. And I could leave it. Yes, I can. I can leave it and paint it, but I'm going to add a little filler to it just to make it look a little bit better, to make it fit a little bit better before I take it off. Go easy. You don't want to dig it and make a mess. I can dig it in one spot. Yes, I can. And all it does is make a gouge in what's going on. Now I'm on metal. I'm on metal. You can see it right there. And I'm down as far as I want to go. I'm down on the metal. I'm going to sand this a little bit. Got a little rag. I'm going to blow that off. Wipe it off. Right from painting to filler. All right. I'm going to grab a piece of cardboard, and I'll show you what I'm going to grab the cardboard for. And if you want it to make that absolutely perfect, you would start cutting and filling the whole thing all the way around till it fits perfect. And let's face it, there's no other way to do it. I'm not gonna bend that hood. Not going to bend that hood. I'm going to mark. Not going to mark. I'm just going to put that in there. We can see where it's fitting good and where it's not fitting good. I've got where it's hitting with my hands down too far there. The rest of it looks pretty good all the way around. And that's why I'm going to fix this little spot right here. Going to put that in there. Reason being is I don't want the filler on the hood. Come ahead a little bit further probably. So basically that's where I want the filler. I'm going to mix some up. We'll slide some on that, and then we'll go to the front. It's been a while. It's been a while. What's that, body filler? I'm going to go with this first, and then I'll use the Z-grip after I use. Wow. It's dusty, boys. It's dusty. It's been a while. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to get onto the bodywork of the car and get it straightened out. Maybe we can get some more paint rolling on it. Get the underneath the hood done. The underneath the hood needs a lot of work. Come look at this. You can see that this is a brand new can of filler, and I would say that is the resin on top. So you should mix that up. Take your stir stick and mix that up. This is what I do. I put it in the paint shaker, and that's what I'm going to do. There we go. Let's put it in there for a minute. We'll go to the front of the hood. We'll try this part. You can see how this part is up a little bit. Yes, it is. We're going to take it down some. I'm going to take it down with the block. I generally take some of it down with the block. That's going to take too long in my opinion. So I'm going to get the DA. I got a DA right there, and I've got a 40 grit in here. To sand that primer and sand the filler on the front of the hood, in my opinion, just my opinion, and that's my belly button. Everybody's got one. It would take me too long, so I'm going to speed the process up a little bit, and I'm going to use the DA. Get the glue soft so this comes off nice. So if you have a block like that there that has the glue stick-on paper, get yourself a heat gun. It comes right off. Instead of having the paper, every time you rip it off, you have the paper stuck to your block. And what I want to do is, I've got this going on. I've got a ledge there, and I can show you with I can show you with this. You can see how it hits. And it's probably 1/8 all the way along. We're just going to take that edge off because I want it to fit better. So I'm going to take it off with 40 grit, because I don't want to sand all day with an 80 grit on that primer. I'm going to be going down to the filler. So I want to use a paper that's going to take the filler off. You know, I could sand it with an 80 grit and sand it and sand it and sand it and sand it. I can, but I don't feel like it's necessary. I grab something that's a good strong grit. Nope, got this one over here. Got to thank everybody for all the good comments and stuff. Everything's going awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. We get some, you know, just to, you know, for the YouTubers, everything's excellent. Generally, everything's excellent on Facebook. Woo! We get some different thinkers on there. Some different thinkers. It's funny. This is the funny part to me. I find it very funny. I did the chrome on the dash. And there's a few people that are, oh, that's not going to last. Well, why am I re-chroming the dash? Probably because the chrome didn't last. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's funny thinking, you know. You really have to put that in perspective, you know. I'm not talking to the YouTubers. I'm talking to some people on Facebook. When anybody restores a car, anybody, I don't care who it is, right from the best to the worst. When you restore a car, if you want to leave it outdoors and drive it every day, it's going to rust. I guarantee it. It's going to rust. So you really have to put your brain in gear that when you're restoring something, you're looking after it. You're putting it in a garage and all that stuff. You know, like. Yeah. Alrighty, let's take the front of this off. Make this fit. I'm going to turn her up a little bit. I'm trying to bring the hood down to this level here. And I'll know when this is down to this level because the sandpaper will start hitting it. Also, when I'm sanding this with the DA, use a block. Well, I'm using this DA exactly like I'm using a block. I'm crisscrossing, I'm back and forth, I'm not staying in one spot, I'm actually going quite fast. And I'm doing the exact same thing. That is just as flat as that. If I start doing this, then it's not going to be good. If I start doing this, it's not going to be good. So basically, I'm doing the exact same thing. But you must admit, there's a bigger surface on that than there is that. Sorry, I'm going to change gears on you real quick here, though. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some filler on that, let that dry, and then sand that. I got to stop shaking in there. And there's been a lot of people on the old Facebook. I'm sharing it with my YouTubers. There's been a lot of people on the Facebook saying the chrome won't last. Well, what is the chrome made out of on the new cars, everyday cars? It's made out of plastic. It's made out of plastic. You have to ask yourself, the car that you're driving, what is the chrome made out of? What are the letters made out of? When you buy chrome for your car, what is it made out of? You have to ask yourself. Make me laugh, man. Make me laugh. It's not going to last. It's not going to last. Well, when you buy a new car, the sills rust off them. You know, they get rusty. You know, just because you restore a car doesn't mean that it's not going to get rusty. You know, it does not mean that at all. You're trying to fix it and then look after it. Come look at the fill now. There we go. Never used a stick. Never raised a sword. So I'm going to put just a little bit of filler on that. We'll put more than we need. And if I put more than we need, then we have some to shape. If I don't put more than we need, then we'll be back doing it again. Feels good to be, got Elvis pulled out. Feels good to have the shop cleaned up a little bit, you know. It does, feels good. It feels good. I feel good. That new song by Pitbull, that's a good song. I'm going to get Jolene to put it on for me after the video's over. I got the cardboard in between the hood and the cowl because I do not want the filler getting on the hood. And then I have to sand it off, right? That's the deal. Wherever you put this stuff, it causes work. Believe me, it causes work. So I got too much fill. But I'm probably going to put it on just so I have enough. You know what I'm trying to tell you. If I don't put it on, I won't have enough. Now, I got sort of a mess going on there. I sanded this area because if I put filler on it, and then it'll stick. If I didn't sand it, it generally wouldn't stick. Alrighty, that's now. I'd like to get more down in there if I could. Hard spot to get. I'm gonna bend that if I can. Ah. Yeah. It's a hard one. I don't know if I want to do that or not. I'm dragging it out of the place where I want it. Don't want to do that. Don't want to do that. Filler's hard to get used to. Putting it on. Yes, it is. I'm going to go with that for now. Put that on my back on my board and call it. Just wipe it off. I'm taking, smooth that off. Don't put the stuff where you don't want to sand, believe me. I might have it a little bit high, but we'll see what goes on. I don't need anything on that. I don't need anything, I don't think. There's a spot there that's got glass showing. I'll stick it on there. Hey, why not? Generally, you always have to put filler over glass. So there's glass showing. Put some filler over top of it. Alrighty. We'll get back at the front of the hood. So basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get the hood to fit the best it can for now. I don't like how far down that is compared to the hood. And I've got the rest of the hood looking good. I've got that scooped up there a little bit, I see, but it is what it is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let that go for a little bit. I've got an X-Acto knife. So when it gets sort of half, then I'll X-Acto knife that off and get that piece of cardboard out of there. So we're going to just play a little bit and then we'll pay attention. Hitting glass, so I should probably be getting close to the metal because I welded a lip all the way across there. So basically I know that I glassed where I've welded it before I filled. It's been a while. Taking some out, putting some in. You see, look, see where I'm getting close? You know, I'm not down to the edge yet, but I'm getting close. It's starting to hit up here, still got to take down some. Metal. Some metal right here. I'm going to tilt that down, so I'm just feeling it over, see what it feels like. We're metal there. We're at the point where we're starting to be good. There. You can see where it's sanding on both edges. You can see that sand it and that sand it. We're good there. We'll leave that alone. It's cut. It's not stuck. Okay, I'm just going to take some more out on this corner. We're on metal. Good over there, right here. on metal right there. Now, in order to get that to fit the best it can, I'm saying I'm going to need a little filler on both sides. On this side, so you can see where it's hitting down there is a little low there because it's not hitting it, because I'm blocking, doing it together. Good over there. Just trying to get as close, you know, get it reasonable. That's where I'm trying to get it. We get into this thing, I'll throw a mask on for everybody, but it's hard to talk and go on and do this at the same time. We're only doing it for an hour, or whatever it takes. Now, got it sanded so body fill can go on either side. And stick. That's what I need. Now I have to take that off and get that out before I pick the hood up because I can't. I can throw maybe some filler on this before we do that, and then we can let this dry when I get that. Alrighty. I think I better sand that down a little bit further, just for the simple fact is I might carry the fill down a little bit further. Put a little filler on the front of that. Probably like to do it with Z-grip. Now I'm going to do it with this first. I'm probably going to have to do a second coat, so I'll do it with this first and then I'll do the Z-grip. And the reason being is this filler is a little cheaper, a little bit, not much, and also it has a better filling. To me, it has a better fill to it than the Z-grip. Put more on than I need. Reason being is, if I don't have it, I can't sand it off. It's been a long time since this car's been primed, and this is all brand new again. You know, I don't know what's going on sort of on this car. It's been a long time. Basically, I want filler on the whole thing. We got a good line in the back, so I wouldn't dare move the hood back. So this is what I'm doing. Now, one more time. Now we're going to do the hood at the same time. We're hoping that when we sand it next time, they both come off together. If we do, we're lucky. And you know what they say, you got to be good to be lucky. Yeah. They tell me that won't last. Well, they must ask themselves, did the chrome last? Blows me away. Makes me smile. Makes me smile. Hold your breath. Now what I'm hoping is, when I sand that off, I'm going to do another swoop. I'm going to do it this way. What I'm hoping is, when I sand that off, that the DA hits both. The filler on this side and the hood side. And then I'll know whether I've got it halfway decent. Alrighty. And this stuff can take hours and hours and hours and hours to do your gaps and body lines. It can take hours and hours and hours, especially if you want something that's dead on. Now, where I put that filler on there, if I did not go back and cut that, obviously if I didn't go back and cut that, how that would have stuck in there, then I would have had a mess. I'm just kind of wondering how I want to take that off, because there's a choice going on there. I'm going to take it off by hand with a piece of 40 grit on the, where'd I put my block at? I'm going to just rip this off, put a piece of 40 grit on it. Scissors. I'd use the DA, but I don't want to rip the hood all up, I do not want to rip the hood all up. Probably going to rip the hood up anyways with this. Trying to make them equal. Man, that hood fits good. What? Basically is what it takes. That's what you're using it for generally. When you see a car that's filled like from head to toe, skimmed with whatever you skim it with, or body filler, or putty, or whatever, that's what you're doing. You're making all the panels run with each other. It's not because they're all crooked and all terrible. It's because you want to make all the gaps come together nice. And generally, if you've ever welded a car before, I've welded cars together before, and you think because you welded this door to the fender, you think that's straight. It's not straight. No, it's not. I've learnt that. I've learnt that. And you can tell the difference when you go look at a car. You go look at a car, like any car that you want to choose to look at, you will know the difference. If you look for it, you will know the difference. And there generally is quite a big difference. Because all, like on the really nice cars, all the panels meet up perfectly. On fantastic cars, they generally don't. There's two different kind of cars going on. So any car that you go up on, that the body, like, wow, that, everything fits so good. Well, this is what they're doing. Or this is what has been done. Try to get it fit best you can. Yes, you do. And the rest is filler. How do I know? Because I run the body shop and the metal fabrication shop. That's how I know. Jolene's feeling a little bit better today. She's up and around, feeling good. She looks twice as good, but she's up feeling better today. She was able to go have breakfast with me this morning, boys. It's a good thing. And the reason I'm trying to get this hood fit better is I want to get it off so I can get that LS motor out and get it stuck underneath the hood and carry on. And this way here I don't have to put the hood back on and on and off and on and off and on and off. I want to just make it fit. I just want it to fit. You know? Metal over here. Now, come this side, sweetheart, if you'd like. You can see how much better it's fitting now than it did before. It just looks much nicer. It's up a little bit higher. It just looks nicer. Just going to cut this off. The same gap going on is what I want. Just trimmed it back to where it was. And basically that was a quick and easy fix. Got a little bit going on right here, a little bit of filler. The reason I put that cardboard in there is I didn't want to do a bunch of sanding in that body line. Basically is what I didn't want to do. Didn't want to do a bunch of sand in there. And I suggest you do the same when you get the chance. You can eat up a lot of time you're looking for perfection, you eat up a lot of time. You can. And there's little tricks, like putting the cardboard in there was a little trick, you know. Might not be a big trick, but it was a trick. Basically, that's where I'm saying where it needs to be. I'll skim it with the Z-grip. And I'll call that looking better. Now, so you could go around the whole hood and do that, but I'm not willing to go there right now. It's not about that for me on this one. I'd like to paint it someday in my life. And when I get this car done, it's going to last forever. Basically, some of the first rules when you get into old cars, and if you're painting them and restoring them and make them look nice, first rule is you take care of it. It's not just because you fixed it does not mean that it's going to last forever. If I leave this thing outdoors and run it for 3, 4, 5 years, it's going to rust most certainly. Brand new cars rust 3, 4, 5 years, you know. It's kind of foolish to think that just because someone has fixed something that it's never going to rust again. That's not true. You start driving it every day, leaving it outdoors, not taking care of it. You know what happens to it. Look at our Suburban. We got it banged up already, haven't we, baby? We're jumping curbs and getting it stuck and smashing hinges off it and doing all kinds of certain things. But I'm just going to leave that for a second. You got to think also, when me and Jolene were talking, we and Jolene talk all the time because that's what we do. But you got to think about when you see on TV there, they take their cars and they go to a dip tank. Think about this for a second. Take your car, spend thousands and thousands of dollars and take it to a dip tank. Takes all the paint off it. Goes inside the doors, goes in the quarter panels, goes everywhere. Well, how do you get paint back on all that place where all that paint has been taken off? How do you recoat the inside surface when you can't get at it? How do you do that? You must realize that there is bare metal inside that car after you have dip tanked something, pressure washed it, took all the paint off it, then you go to do the work on it. How do you get your gun in there, in that little hole, to get the bare metal that the strip tank's got? And I know this because when I've sandblasted, nowadays when you have a frame, some of the places are overlapped. And when you sandblast something, that sand strips generally everything. It goes inside the frame, in the holes, in the crevices, everywhere. You can bring that chassis in, you can prime it, you can sand it, you can fill it, you can do a beautiful paint job on it. You let it get wet and leave it outdoors for a bit, and the rust will climb right back out of it again because you cannot get to the places that you have stripped with the sandblaster or the dip tank. Believe me, I know. Because I know you can't get at it. When you have a brand new car, they have a chance to dip that stuff and get the bare metal places because they are starting from fresh. But you have to realize that, you know, as they build new chassis, they build the new chassis from square stock. So you can't get in on the inside, and there's no seams, basically. Food for thought. You can undercoat them. Yes, you can. You can undercoat them and hope that you get everything. But let's face it, if you strip something like that, you cannot get it all repainted. Alrighty. We've got metal. You see it, low spot. There's the bottom of the flood. There's the bottom. That's the ocean floors right there. That's as low as I can go. So I'm going to take and knock this off. I'm going to cut off the hood. Probably should have cut that first. Should have. Now, this is what I'm going to do. Get off. Get off. Now, just trying to get that out of there because I want to open the hood. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the hood. I'm going to knock off, we'll just do it. I'm going to take and open the hood and knock off the edges on the hood. We're going to sand the edge of the hood. I'm not going to do anything in that back right there right now. It looks good. There's no, I can put a little stuff on it sometime. These hoods aren't the best, I don't find. They seem to be very weak. Now you can see where it's been left. It's got a little rusty at time. I'm going to take some 80 grit. And sand it off. Car sat outdoors for a while. Give me another piece. Look, can I get that piece? Just want to get that rust off. One thing I found, you generally are okay when you leave something with body fill on it. So generally the rust is not underneath the body fill, just on the metal. Scrub it off and continue on. That's what I generally do. Now, might need a little bit on there and picks and stuff, but this is what I'm going to do. You can see I've got, I should have sanded that first. Probably should have sanded that first. Yes, I should have. Just gonna take my sandpaper, slide it in there, sand that off. Got a little stopper there to tell me where my hood fits the best. Now let's put this thing down. You can see the piece I made in here. I got a little piece welded on the center of the hood that comes down and that goes on there. I got 2 holes in it. I'm going to put a washer around each side of this. I'm going to put a gusset on this side and this side to make it look a little bit better and be stronger. It fits down on my actuator. Just wanted to remember the name of it. And that goes down like so. Okay, we're fitting better. Fitting better, even fitting better back there. Woo-hoo! Alrighty. We have not got enough. This is what I'm going to do. Oh, open that back up again. I gotta make sure, Take the sandpaper, just wanna make sure it's sanded, that's all. I wanna make sure it's sanded. There's a rust going on there, that edge. Actually, I'm just going to buzz it off and do it. Just going to buzz it off the sander and put new on. Just to make sure. She sanded now. It's 40 grit. Now, that's a piece of round, what's that? Thank you, sweetheart. Jolene's amazing. Alrighty. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to knock that off a little bit. Put this back down. Now, I got a big gap going on in the front. Don't like it. This is what I'm going to do. I don't think I want to put the filler on the edge of the hood. I want to put the filler on the edge of the car. That's where I want to put the filler. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my tape. You can spend hours doing this if you want to. Hours and hours and hours. So what I'm going to do, put my tape on here. Come watch, baby. I've got a big gap going on. It's a little thinner there, a little wider there. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my tape and put it on here. I'm going to make my body line with my tape. If you see what I'm doing, I'm closing the body line up with the tape. And I might even make it a little closer than it should be. So I can always sand it off. So I've got body line. Pretty better looking body line now. Should have my glasses on so I can see better, but if it's too small of a body line, then that's all fine. We'll just sand some off it. Now, that body line don't look bad there. I'm going to get my glasses on just to check it out. Whew, them things are dirty. Dirty, Gertie. Alrighty. Could come up a little bit higher here. Just go up a little bit higher there. What the hey? You can always take it off. It's putting it on is the issue. All right, see how I got that going on? Got a much better body line going on there. Much better. These hoods aren't nothing special. Now I know where to fill to. If you know what I'm trying to say, the tape is right there. I know the distance I have to come up. And I'm going to put it on the car instead of the edge of the hood. I'll have less chance of it busting off the edge of the car than I would off the edge of the hood. Way too much. And well, better have too much and not enough. Now, if you're thinking, well, you should have welded the metal closer to the hood. Well, then if you get the metal too close to the hood, well, then you got no room for this. And if you got no room for this, well, then it's hard to make it as nice as you want. It really is. Anytime that you weld something up on an edge or a door, you always leave room, or I always leave room for filler. And the reason being is because you use it when the metalwork is done. And where does a car go where it's after it's done its metal work? It goes to the body shop. I probably should have mixed some more. I'm going to try to get it. I'm going to try to get it. Always becomes an issue when you haven't got enough. That's when it becomes an issue. Not before, and not after. Before. Okay. It's done. It's over. It's dried on me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that I like what's going on, but I'm going to take and knock that off because I don't want to sand it. Don't want to sand it. I just want a little bit more on, and then I'll get it in one swipe. We'll make a good body line. That body line is so good, well, I'll not say so good. It could be so good that I could take and, with a piece of paper, sand it off to the tape, and I know I got a good line because I made the line with the edge of the hood, basically. Looking at that Z grip down there, but I don't think I need it. I'm just going to mix a little bit more up. I'm going to rub it on with my finger. No, I'm just going to put a little bit more on. Just a little bit. That's all I need is a little bit. I'm going to use more than I need. What the hey. When you go buy a new car, do you say, that's not going to last? Yeah, shit. Why do people get bumpers re-chromed? They didn't last. Shit. It was good for a laugh. Made me laugh. Didn't it, baby? Made me laugh. Not gonna last. Okay. Neither did the chrome bumper. Or the gauges. I'm laughing with you, not at you. That's the Facebookers, that is. I often wonder what they think their chrome on their cars or new cars that they buy. I wonder what they think it is. They think it's pot metal? You can get the car built by the best car builder in the world. You leave it outdoors. 2, 3, 4 years, it'll be rusty. I guarantee it. Won't last. So if you get an old car, make sure you get a garage put in. You know what I'm trying to tell you. Because they generally don't last out in the weather forever. Nope. They do not. That's the shitty part about it. Nothing lasts forever. But it's some fun building cars. I can tell you that much. Some fun building cars. Keep them indoors, they might. Might last a little while longer. Don't want to sand that, that's all. I'm writing that off. I don't want to sand it. I shouldn't be making fun, should I, sweetheart? Alrighty. I'm going to call that stuff toast. When I sand that off, what are we at? Oh, ooh. I got timer not, but what I'm thinking is, this is what I'm thinking as I've done that. I put the filler on the car instead of the edge of the hood. I'm thinking that the car would have less chance of chipping than the edge of the hood. So when I go to sand this filler off, I will sand it to the edge of the tape. If I go further than the tape, well, then I know the gap's going to be too wide because I made the gap with the tape. Yeah, let's set it down right now and just take a look. Set it down right now. Just gap be so tight that I won't be able to get it back up again. Ouch. Now, you can see if I sand the body filler down to the edge of the tape, I could take the tape off right now and we'll make a new line with tape. So, there's the filler. What's that, sweetheart? We can? I can just let that sit there for a minute. What I'm going to do now is put the tape back on it. Put the tape back on. Let's do it. Now I'm going to use the tape to the edge of the hood. So I'm going to make my own line. I'm going to make the body gap line with the edge of the hood because the edge of the hood we're not going to change. So stick with me. Putting the tape on to the edge of the hood. I'm using the edge of the hood for the line. Goes over top of the body fill. It does not matter because I'm using the tape for the edge of the hood. For the body line. We have company. There we go. Good morning.
Yeah, so good.
We'll just we'll let you know here in a second. As I go along here, you can see how I'm keeping the tape with the edge of the hood to make my body gap. It's a little bit smaller than there, but we'll start there first, and then we'll get more as we go along. So I'll pick the hood back up. I hope I can. Sometimes it's a hard game. Now, see where my tape is? Let's get a piece of sandpaper. Now we'll sand it down to the edge of the tape. Might be a little bit soft, but it's a nice time to sand it, actually. It's nice and soft. Not as soft as Jolene, though. Now you can do every gap on your car like this. And I suggest you put the filler on the car, not the edge of the door or the trunk lid or anything like that. You put it on the car instead. Now, I'm going to take this off, just so we can get a full effect. I'm going to scrub the front of it off. Just so we can get a visual. Just scrubbing it easy. I know the filler on the front is straight. I don't want to mess with that. I just want to get that body line back. Put that block at on the floor. Yeah, well, let's keep going. There it is. Just had a nicer grip, that's all. Now, when I put that hood down, we should have a really nice hood gap. And the reason being is I stayed with the tape, and it should be quite tight. Tight and right. Now, we're a little tighter than we should be, and that's great because I can take a little more off. And the way I take more off is I do it again like this. Let's do it again so you can see. We got a gap going right there. I'd probably say it's a little better than what we got going on. Just bring it down some more. And I'm making the gap with the tape. I'm using the tape to the edge of the hood. That's basically what I'm doing. tape to the edge of the hood. That's how much filler I got to take off to make the gap look better. A little tight there, going with the edge of the hood. A little tight, take a little more off. Depends on how fantastic you want it to make it look, basically. How fantastic you want it to look. All right, let's take a little more off. All I'm doing is sanding down to the tape, and then I know I have a good gap. So I made my body line with my tape, and that's the way that I generally do it. Yeah, that's the way I always do it. Taking more off there. You can make your gaps absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. If you get the tape put on right, you can make it absolutely perfect. And you can actually make the body panels fit perfect too if you want to block them together. Or you've seen how I made that hood fit back there. Didn't have to do it all the way around, but there generally is places that you have to fix to make it look good. And you do what you got to do. That's generally what a body man does. He does what he has to do to make look the metal work or the car to look the way it has to. That's what a body man does. And if you don't know, just ask me, I'll tell you. Now, we can take probably a little bit more off. Just keep going, just putting tape on there. You see how well the body line fits? And that's basically how you do it. I can take a little bit more off. And what I do is I run the tape one more time. You can see I run it down there again. I'm a little close there because I ran the tape too close. If I ran the tape down a little bit further and sand it down, then I'll get a little bit more. Do we want to keep going? Basically, that's what's going on. I'm going to make this hood fit the best I can in the front. I've got it fitting good in the back, good enough in the back right here. If I want it to make this fit back here, I can either, there's two things you can do. You can add filler to the hood, or I can cut this and knock it down a little bit and weld it back up and fill it. So either way, this is where I'm at. You can think of it two ways. I can fill the hood to make it fit that, or I can cut that, weld it, and then fill it. So you have to make the decision what you want to do. I know what's more work. Cut that, fill it, because you have to cut it, you have to grind it, you have to fill it. If you just come in with filler, then you just fill the hood and it's over. So there's 2 ways to skin the cat. Probably more ways to skin the cat. I could take the hood off and jump on it. You can do that too, but basically that's not where it's at. Let's give away a hat or a shirt. And let's not forget that Jolene is jet setting today. And we're going down here. Jet setting is going to be chosen when? Tonight? Hello, Tim.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Somewhat good.
Somewhat good. All right, let's give away a hat or a shirt. And we're only giving hats and shirts away to people that have made a comment from the last night's video. And I'm thinking that me explaining that helped out a lot, did it not? Because there's a lot more.
There's like over 1,000 comments.
Whoa! Hope we don't have to give her a hat or shirt for everyone.
I have to open the door.
All right, we'll open the door. Excuse me there, Tim. Fina's got to go out the door first. That's what we always know. Woo! We're going to try it again. So basically, I want to get that hood fitting before I take it off. Your connection was interrupted. Oh, there we go. So if you haven't voted for Jolene for Jet Setter, we please, let's support her. Let's support her. It's tonight.
Yeah. And then semifinals are decided. So I think it goes from like 128 down to 32 people.
So tonight it's 138 down to
132 down to 38.
132 down to 38 people tonight. So if we can get Jolene in there, the closer she'll be. Come on, computer. If I haven't told you before, we're so far out, we got to come out to hunt. And that's why we're not working.
Change it.
All right, looks like we're working now. She's counting. Right on. 1,143 comments. Wow. Thank you very much, everybody. We appreciate you coming and watching. Sorry I had to make fun of some of the Facebookers, but it just made me laugh. Eric Miller? Eric Miller, thank you so much for putting up a great video. Well, thank you very much, Eric Miller. You win a hat or shirt of your choice, and the reason you have because you made a comment. And if you want to win a hat or shirt, you have to comment on the video from today and enter in tomorrow. And the reason that I re-chromed the dash is because it didn't last. Have a good one, everybody. See you tomorrow.